Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So these are lots to negotiate today on this video, so if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. But going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Bruno Fernandes. So we do know that Bruno Fernandes has been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United, through the entirety of this transfer window. I do believe that the rumours have died down a little bit, about Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United, but I do believe that Bruno Fernandes is keen on making a move to Manchester United, and I do believe he's waiting on the transfer to Manchester United. So as it has confirmed, according to the Daily Express, Bruno Fernandes has been pulled out of Sporting Lisbon's pre-season friendly tomorrow, and all that, ahead of his proposed move to Old Trafford. So the question is actually, is Paul Pogba, delaying Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United and all that. Obviously, I think Bruno Fernandes has also met up with his agent in regards to his future and all that. But we do know he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. So he won't be playing in Sporting Lisbon's pre-season friendly tomorrow, as that is currently confirmed. Allegedly, Bruno Fernandes' agent was in the UK last week. Reportedly, he allegedly held talks with Manchester United of allegedly thrashing out a deal for his client. So basically, Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal and that for his client. Obviously, Tottenham have been in for him. Obviously, Liverpool and that thing quite about his services. But I think he did confirm a couple of weeks. Well, he did allegedly say a week or two ago that Tottenham and Liverpool, of course, had withdrawn their interest, and it actually said, Manchester United now are the only team in the running to sign Bruno Fernandes. But I think I'm still very, very convinced, we can get the deal over the line for him. Obviously, talks have been ongoing, between Manchester United and Sporting. There's been for quite some time. I do believe allegedly that the personal terms have been agreed. So Bruno Fernandes has agreed personal terms with Manchester United. I think he's also reportedly agreed a contract worth around 100 grand a week and all that. But obviously, no fee as yet, come to an agreement. I think the fee is a stumbling block at the moment. I think Sporting Lisbon have said, they want around 50 odd million pounds and all that. I think the Sporting Lisbon president Federico Fernandes did confirm that Sporting Lisbon, would offload him for around 53 million pounds. But he did reportedly say Manchester United, only want to pay him around 32 million pounds. So I do believe Manchester United will probably hold more talks with Bruno Fernandes' agent, over coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. I think it did maybe say sometime this week he's set to fly out to Manchester and all that, to hold more extensive talks with Manchester United. But I'm hopeful, we can get the deal fully finalised sometime this week. Obviously, we haven't been competitive enough, so far in this summer transfer window. I do know that we have got two players on the board. Obviously, it's our first two signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, we've got Daniel James for £18 million. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka in a deal with around £50 million. And we do know Wan-Bissaka is going to be a fantastic, player there for Manchester United. But we need even more than Wan-Bissaka, as you all currently know. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, he wants to bring at least three more new additions to the squad, because there's only about 4 weeks left of this current transfer window and all that. And initially, Solskjaer did say a couple of months ago, before we did get them two players in, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. But so far, for the entirety of this window, we have been mainly focusing on the incomings. But I think we've also got to focus on getting rid of players, because we've obviously got to, get rid of players to help us generate funds and, of course, rebuild the squad and all that. And yeah, and I'm very, very hopeful we can get a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously there's still lots to address in the squad. We definitely need an experienced centre half in. I'm still confident we can get Harry Maguire. We need a couple of additions in that midfield, but I don't think Bruno Fernandes has got all to do with what happens with Paul Pogba and that. I still believe we should get the deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, even if Paul Pogba is to stay at Manchester United and all that. But like I said, he's been on our agenda for the entirety of this current transfer window. He's a very, very good player. Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United, he's going to rejuvenate the team. He's going to bring us them goals that we need in that midfield. He's going to have depth in that midfield. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder. Only 24 years of age, and reflecting back around 6 or 7 weeks ago, it was looking like the Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for him. But obviously, as it did get confirmed, Manchester City had withdrawn their interest. I think Bruno Fernandes' agent has also held talks with Liverpool and Tottenham. But I think we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes at least for the last 4 to to 5 weeks, maybe even longer. This is actually stemming from Ebola, where the Portuguese press and all that. But like I said, he's been at Sporting, he's been a couple of seasons. Last season he scored first 2 goals in 50 matches, I think, in all competitions. Obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria, Udinese. I think he also played for Novia and all that. He signed a 5-year contract with Sporting Lisbon last summer, so he's in the contract with them until 2023. I think his initial release clause is around £88 million, but obviously Manchester United are not willing to go anywhere near that figure, of course, to trigger his current release clause. But I think Bruno Fernandes' preference is actually to make a move to Manchester United. So still very convinced, we can get this deal over the line, but we've got to be more competitive in this window and all that. Because I'm getting frustrated, because I thought we'd have got the deal now over the line for Bruno Fernandes. We've held a lot of negotiations, but obviously, we just haven't come to an agreement on a fee as yet, and this is obviously become the frustrating part. I think basically, we should just pay what Sporting has been currently demanding, because I think £53 million, whatever they want, I think that's somewhere what they want. I think he's definitely worth that, a player of his calibre on level. I know he hasn't really played to the highest level as yet, Bruno Fernandes, but him coming to the Premier League, I think he's got all the attributes to succeed. I think he'll definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. And anywhere, it's looking like that Paul Pogba's going to be leaving the football club, so I think Bruno Fernandes, would be a good adequate replacement for him. But the Daily Express did mention that it's Paul Pogba, holding the key to Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United, but I don't think Paul Pogba's got all to do with Bruno Fernandes, coming out to Manchester United, because it was still initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans anyway. Even if Paul Pogba was to stay at the football club, he still wanted to bring 2 new additions, of course, in that current midfield. So hopefully, we can get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes, and we obviously, we do need to revitalise the squad. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously, he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents and young players that can emulate, of course, in superstars. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes is following a policy, that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's policy is getting the pursuit of young players. Obviously, there's been a lot of British players on our current agenda, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. But like I said, I'm very happy with the signing of Wan-Bissaka, like I currently said. Very, very happy about that. Like I said, he's going to get straight into the first team. Wan-Bissaka, obviously, he's going to be our first choice right back, going on into this season. With Daniel James, I'm sceptical about him, getting straight into the first team. I don't think he'll get first team football, week in, week out. So, I am very, very sceptical about that. If I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, there's still lots of areas in the squad, that we do currently need to address without a shadow of a doubt. I think initially we'd been given around £200 million to spend. Obviously, allegedly came out about 3 weeks ago saying that we've only been given £100 million to spend, because obviously, we didn't qualify for the Champions League, of course, for next season. But like I did say last week, I wanted Manchester United, to complete the signing of I wanted us to get 2 signings on the board. Obviously, my hopes went out the window. Obviously, Solskjaer did say from his own perspective before we did go on pre-season tour, he wanted to get 1 more signing, of course, on the board. But obviously, his hopes had gone out of the window. So we've got to be more competitive in this window. And I know it's going to be hard for us, to get our number 1 targets, because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season. And Champions League football, of course, is always very pivotal. When you do want to get your number 1 targets, it's also going to be hard for us, to try and convince our imperative players to stay at the football club. But like I said, it's very essential that we get players in. I think we've also got to sell players, to help us generate funds and, of course, rebuild the squad and all that. But yeah, like I said, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, obviously we do know Antonio Valencia's left the club. He served 10 years at Manchester United. It was good that we got Wan-Bissaka in as his replacement. Obviously, Ander Herrera left on a free transfer. He signed a 5-year deal with PSG. Obviously, we're going to need a definite replacement for him. Obviously, as well, Fellaini left back in January. So we have got to address that midfield. I think we need 2 new additions in that midfield. Some people said we need 3 new additions in that midfield. Obviously, we've got McTominay. He's too inexperienced. I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution, and I'm very, very sceptical about Fred, to be quite honest with you, because obviously he was a fundamental player at Shakhtar Donetsk, and to be honest to Fred, he was a great player at Shakhtar Donetsk, but he hasn't really replicated this since he did make the return since he came to Manchester United. Sorry, he did put a string of good performances out towards the back end of last season, but I still don't know if he's the long-term solution. And this is what I mean, Fred, he's one of our most expensive signings. We paid £50 million for him, and you can't put Fred in Bruno Fernandes' calibre or level. So I think we should just pay, what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding. But like I said, I think Fred, I don't know if he's the long-term solution. We've got Matic, but Matic is too inconsistent. Plus, he's aging up. He's not getting any younger. He's too slow, too ineffective in that midfield and all that. I think sustained quite a couple of injuries last season. So yeah, we've definitely got to address that midfield. But there has been so many midfielders, of course, on our current agenda. But I do believe we are moving away from the policy of actually, signing them, well-established players and all that, them Galactico players and all that. Because like I said, it's not always about, spending big on players. And quite a few people said, we should be, sensible of our recruitment this summer and all that. This is what, quite a few people have currently said. But, we have got a history of spending big on players. We spent a lot of money, since Ferguson retired. We've had different managers with different philosophies and all that. A hell of a lot of money has been spent into the club. And, we spent big money on players in recent seasons. Lukaku, 75 million, Pogba, 89 million pounds. Obviously, our two most expensive signs. But I think Pogba and Lukaku have obviously, both been relentlessly linked to a move away from the club. And obviously, we've put huge, hefty price tags on both players, but I think if we can sell them, I think we can generate around £200 million for their departure. So I think that will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course that will help us with our transition and all that. Obviously, I give you the breaking news, didn't I, earlier on, in regard to Mario Lemina from Southampton and all that. Obviously, a lot of reports have been circulating around the media today, saying that Manchester United are interested in signing him, and reportedly, we've inquired about his services. Also, Arsenal have inquired about his services, and I think it also said that Leicester have inquired about his services. He's a Gabonese international, like I said. He's 25 years of age. I think he has been Southampton a couple of seasons. I think he's still got 3 years left on his contract with Southampton as Mario Lemina. I think he's mainly been out of favour with Southampton, reflecting on the amount of injuries he has sustained. He sustained quite a few injuries last season and all that. And I think he has actually notified Ralph Hasenhüttl that he wants to leave Southampton, because obviously Mario Lemina has been left out of Southampton's pre-season trip to Austria and all that, so he wasn't included in Southampton's squad. So I do believe he does currently want to leave Southampton. Obviously, I think Southampton will want to recruit the initial £18 million that they did pay for him from Juventus a couple of years ago, because Southampton did pay around £18 million. I think they initially paid just over £15 million, but I think there were add-ons included, which did potentially rise to around £18 million. He's, like I said, 25 years of age. He has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, he's primarily a central midfielder. I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder, but his versatility is very, very good, because he has played in various other positions. I think he has played as a centre-back. He's also played as a full-back, a wing-back. He's also played as a winner. So he is very, very versatile as this player. I think Manchester United are in talks with... Man United are in talks with Mario Lemina and all that of a possible move to Old Trafford this summer. But I think Southampton have given permission to Mario Lemina, to hold talks with other clubs, because I think Southampton, of course, are more willing to offload him and all that. But I do believe he probably would be more of like an Arsenal type signing, would Mario Lemina. I don't think he would be, maybe he would be the right player for Manchester United. I'm not too sure, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But he has been at Southampton 2 years, so he's had 2 years of experience under his belt in the Premier League. And for Southampton, he's made 46 appearances in the Premier League, and I think he's made about 52 appearances in all competitions. Like I said, before he was at Southampton, he was at Juventus. I think he did serve a couple of years in cheering with Juventus. I think he actually, played alongside Paul Pogba, during his time with Juventus. So maybe could Mario Lemina, reunite with Paul Pogba. But anyway, it's looking likely, Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the football club. I think he actually began his career in France. Did Mario Lemina. I think he began his career with Lorraine, and then I think he had a couple of years with Marcelo and all that. So do you think he would be the right solution for Manchester United? Obviously with Arsenal, I don't think they've bought anybody yet. I think they have got a player on the board, but I don't think they've bought anybody yet. I might be wrong about that. But obviously Arsenal have got a tight budget. They've only got around between 40 to 45 million pounds to spend. And the reason why Arsenal have got a tight budget, because obviously they failed to qualify for the Champions League next season. I think Arsenal, if I might, are on the verge of getting William Saliba. Obviously Arsenal are still in there for Wilfried Zaha. So Arsenal have got quite a few players. I think they're also in there for Kieran Tierney, is it from Celtic and all that left back. So Arsenal have got quite a few players on their current agenda. With Leicester have inquired about his services. It does currently mention, obviously, Leicester are doing good business themselves in this window so far. Obviously, Leicester have bought Youri Tielemans. They got him yesterday for £40 million. That's a really good signing for Leicester, to be quite fair. Obviously, they've got James Justin from Luton, and I think they also got Perez from Newcastle. So Leicester so far have got 3 players on the board so far this summer, but they have inquired about Mario Lemina's services. But like I said, he is primarily a central midfielder. I think he's only best scored around 2 goals for Southampton, but he has served a couple of years with Southampton. But I think he's confirmed, that he does want to leave Southampton. But Man United are in talks of possibly, getting a deal over the line for the player. £18 million is very reasonable, but I just don't know if he would be the right type of player for Manchester United and all that. We probably would see him. Would you see him as a replacement for Pogba, or would you see him as a replacement for Ander Herrera? I think actually Arsenal were linked with Mario Lemina, during his time with Juventus, I think, a couple of years ago. So he has been relentlessly, linked to move to Arsenal. So I think he would probably, be more of an Arsenal type signing than a Manchester United type signing. As you all know, there has been reports going out in the last couple of days, at least, in regards to Serge Milinkovic-Savic and all that. Sorry if I have pronounced his name wrong. I think reportedly now we have identified Serge Milinkovic-Savic as our number 1 target, to replace Paul Pogba at the football club. Reportedly, he did say a couple of days ago that Lazio were demanding that they wanted around £108 million. I think Manchester United will be reluctant to pay that, but I still think he's going to cost us a staggering amount of money. I think reportedly it'd probably cost you in excess of around 70 or £80 million. I think he does say in the media Manchester United have reached an agreement, with Lazio, to currently sign Serge Milinkovic-Savic, and I think reportedly, we have put around a £67 million bid in for him. I think he has been linked to a move to Manchester United for the last year as this player. I think he is primarily a central midfielder. He is only 24 years of age. He's Serbian, so he has, still got a lot of years ahead of him. He has been in Italy, 4 years with Lazio. I think he's made over 150 appearances. I think he is under contract with Lazio until 2023 and all that. But I think his tenacity is supposed to be good. I think his technical abilities are supposed to be very, very good. So do you think he would be a good adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? I think it does say that his agent is holding negotiations with Manchester United and all that over possibly getting a deal concluded for his client. So maybe Serge Milinkovic-Savic is keen on making a move. He's keen on leaving Lazio, but I think it did confirm at the weekend that Serge Milinkovic-Savic's agent had travelled to England and all that. So do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? But it did say at the first that they wanted around 108 million. So obviously that would complicate negotiations a bit. He's never played in the Premier League, this player, but do you think he's good enough, to come and exceed expectation levels? The Premier League, like I said, Man United have been in for him for the last year. I think also, I think a few other teams have been in for him, and I think Juventus have inquired about his services. I think also PSG showed their interest in the player. So, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. We've also identified, another replacement for Paul Pogba, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, and that's obviously, Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, we do know there has been a lot of talks about him going on, at least in the last 4 to 5 days. Obviously, Saul Niguez, he's 24 years of age, so still young, still got a lot of years ahead of him and all that. Again, Saul Niguez, he's going to cost us a substantial amount of money, because obviously his release clause is around £135 million in his contract with Atletico Madrid. But obviously, we're going to get, if Pogba does get sold, obviously we're going to get over £100 million for him. So maybe the club are orchestrating on, generating the funds from Paul Pogba's departure, then putting it on either Saul Niguez or Serge Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio and all that. So who would you prefer, Savic from Lazio, or who would you prefer, Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid? Well, they are both the same age. Obviously, they are playing in different sort of leagues and all that, and But I don't really know much about Saul Niguez. I know he's graduated from Atletico Madrid Youth Academy, and I know he's spent the entirety of his career with Atletico Madrid. I know he's got about 7 years left on his contract. Obviously, a couple of years ago he did sign a new 9-year contract with Atletico Madrid. Obviously, did sign a new 9-year contract with Atletico Madrid a couple of years ago. Obviously, can play as a central or a defensive midfielder, can Saul Niguez and all that. But I think Atletico Madrid are reluctant to offload him. I think the only way Atletico Madrid would offload Saul Niguez is if, of course, they did is if his current release clause was currently triggered and all that. I think Manchester United have touched base with Saul Niguez's representatives over the possible move to Manchester United this summer. I think also Manchester City have previously been linked with the player. So who should replace Paul Pogba at the football club? Now, as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Paul Pogba and all that, now we do know he's been relentlessly linked to move away from Manchester United. And we basically do know that he's been, relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. He's been relentlessly, linked to a move to Juventus. But I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is actually either, I think Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid, and I think his likely destination, of course, has been Real Madrid for quite some time. I think, he has come on a pre-season tour with the rest of the Manchester United squad and all that. But I still believe he's going to be leaving the football club. Obviously, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, did confirm this on Friday. He did say that, Paul Pogba is in the process of leaving Manchester United and all that, and he actually was absent from pre-season training last week. So obviously, that added more speculation in regards to Paul Pogba's long-term future and all that. So he was absent from pre-season training last week. But reports, did suggest out last month saying that Paul Pogba is seeking for a new challenge. He publicly admitted that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time and all that. He publicly admitted he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and he even did say at one point he was even willing to go on strike, to force him to move away from the club. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as you all know, he's working on bringing the right players to Manchester United who can elevate Manchester United forward and get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. But he's also working on trying to keep his imperative players at the imperative players in the club, and obviously one of his imperative players, of course, is Paul Pogba and all that. I've been reading meeting reports up to date, and it basically says that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer he believes he can try and convince Paul Pogba to stay at the football club. But I think Paul Pogba definitely wants to leave Manchester United. He did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was set to hold talks with Paul Pogba in regards to his long-term future and all that. Obviously, we've indicated out that Paul Pogba is not for sale. But he did say would accept a bid in the region of around 150 million pounds. So reflecting on the huge fee that we've put on Paul Pogba at the moment, this is the stumbling block of him making his proposed move to Madrid and Juventus and all that. So I think Real Madrid are orchestrating something out, so they can get the deal over the line for Paul Pogba, because as you all know, Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to 150 million pounds for his services. But it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to actually build a side around Paul Pogba. But maybe the couple of main reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the football club, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, maybe he wants to be competing and all that, and he's not experiencing any of this at Manchester United. So maybe he's frustrated with the lack of competitiveness, and obviously, he feels as though he isn't playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United, because Paul Pogba is still arguably one of the best midfielders in world football. He's 26 years of age, he's still in his prime, he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him, but he's still arguably one of the best midfielders in world football. I know he hasn't really been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, but I'd still say in this market at this day and age, he's worth in the region around 140 or 150 million pounds. But obviously Real Madrid are not willing to pay this. So he did say, I think last week, that Real Madrid were willing to offer us £72 million, and he also said they was willing to offer us Gareth Bale or Isco in exchange for Paul Pogba. So he did say that they were going to give us the choice between Bale and Isco plus £72 million, but obviously Manchester United did not entertain this offer. Obviously, if Pogba does go to Real Madrid, I think Bale probably will likely be a part of the deal, because obviously Real Madrid are desperate to include Gareth Bale in their bid to sign Paul Pogba and all that. Like I did say, I've got reservations about Bale. I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United and all that. And we do know that the transfer saga does continue to persist about Bale, because he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United for the last 5 or 6 years and all that. And the rumours continue to persist since 2012, 2013. I would have took Bale a couple of years ago, but I don't want Bale now at Manchester United. Real Madrid want to get rid of him, as they did confirm at the end of last season. But obviously, according to Gareth Bale's agent, he's said about his client, that he's got no intentions, of course, of leaving Real Madrid. Don't get me wrong, Bale can play on the left, he can play on the right, and obviously Manchester United do need a winner, and at the moment I'm sceptical about Manchester United getting a winger in, but I think there's better solutions out there than Gareth Bale. Bale's been part of the deal, for Paul Pogba. Quite a few people said, this will be beneficial for Manchester United, but everyone has a different, opinion on it. I don't think Bale, would be the right player for Manchester United. Like I said, I would take him a couple of years ago, but who's to say, if he comes back to the Premier League, I think maybe he will exceed expectation levels. Maybe he will, Maybe he will do really, really well, because he's played in the Premier League before. Don't forget, he had 6 years there with Tottenham and that, before he went to Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid did pay £85 million for his services back in 2013 from Tottenham. Obviously, he's still got 3 years left on his contract over with Real Madrid, don't forget. But I've got reservations about him. He's aging up. He's a bit static now, to be quite honest with you. Plus, he's injury prone and all that. But despite the fact that he's injury prone, like I said, his ratio is very, very good. His stats are very, very impressive and all that. So if Pogba does go to Madrid, I think Bale could be part of the deal. Obviously, we know that Juventus are in there for Paul Pogba. Like I said, probably more than likely, Juventus would have to offload one or two of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think, Juventus, would be able to afford him outright. Obviously, we do know that Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent, Mini Raiola and all that. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been working on finding Paul Pogba a new club, at least for the last couple of months and all that. But he even did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to offer Paul Pogba the vice captaincy again, to convince him to stay at the football club. But like I did say, Real Madrid so far this summer have got 5 players on the board. They have spent just over £300 million, so they are doing good business this current window. I do believe Christian Eriksen has been on Real Madrid's agenda. Probably Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But I think Zinedine Zidane, is keen on getting Paul Pogba into Real Madrid, and I think it's initially in Zinedine Zidane's plans, to link up Paul Pogba with Casemiro in his Real Madrid midfield. Obviously, as well, it did say Paul Pogba is willing to take a pay cut, to join Real Madrid, because also that was another stumbling block of him making his move to Real Madrid, as well as the fee, because his 13 million a year wage demands at the time, Real Madrid were not willing to meet them 13 million a year wage demands. So it did say Paul Pogba, was even willing to take a pay cut, but he's definitely, determined to leave Manchester United. But the rumours have continued to persist, throughout the entirety of this window. Paul Pogba, as we all know, still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United. With an option to extend it by a further year. He's on 290 grand a week. Came out the other week saying that we was willing to offer him a long-term contract, worth up to around 500 grand a week again, to try and convince him to remain at the football club and all that. But yeah, he has gone on pre-season tours, but I still believe, that Paul probably, will be leaving and all that. But yeah, like I said, there's only 4 weeks left of the transfer. When some Manchester United fans would want Pogba to stay. Some Manchester United fans would want Pogba to leave. I want him to leave and all that, because I don't want him to leave because I think he's a bad player and all that. I just think it will help us with our rebuilding process, of course, if we do currently get rid of him. And the money that we do generate from his departure, we can get around 2, maybe even 3 players of course with that money. So I think it would be beneficial if the club do offload him. But I think we won't get 150 million, but I think we'll definitely get over £100 million, maybe just a bit less than £100 million and all that. But yeah, he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho, with Paul Pogba. Obviously, Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho, of course, left the club. Obviously, Paul Pogba with the club has won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously, that came in his second season with Manchester United. Paul Pogba, since he rejoined the club in 2016, has obviously scored 31 goals in 135 games and all that. He played 47 games in all competitions last season. I think he scored around 16 goals and provided 11 assists and all that. But like I said, Paul Pogba, did really, really well in the World Cup for France. He also had 4 great years in Turin and all that, but he just hasn't replicated any of this really at Manchester United. Like I said, we have seen glimpses of his best form and all that, but he just hasn't really been the player as we all thought he currently would have been. So I do believe he's definitely going to be leaving the football club. Reports came out yesterday, I think, saying that Juventus are preparing to put around £120 million bidding for him. Whether Juventus are willing to include players as part of this bid they've offered, I do not know, but £120 million in loan alone, will be too insufficient for us because, we've said, we want around £150 million. But obviously, if we get players involved in the deal, obviously, we're going to lower that £150 million price tag and all that. So yeah, that's basically the latest news about Paul Pogba. So it's very imperative, that the club do currently get a replacement for him. Like I did say, there's been other midfielders on our agenda. I updated you, didn't I? Was it last week in regards to Dani Olmo? I give you a lot of updates about Dani Olmo last week from Dynamo Zagreb, because the reports were saying last week that he said he was attracted to the Premier League and all that. He did allegedly say Man United had submitted a bid of around £35 million for him, but I think he did say a number of clubs had inquired about his services, reflecting on his impressive performances, throughout the European Championship and all that. But I do believe now it says that Tottenham are in pole position to sign him. He can play as an attacking mid. He can also play as a winner, Dani Olmo. But his agent did confirm last week that he indicated out that Manchester United are interested in currently signing him. He has got 2 years left on his contract with Dynamo Zagreb. But yeah, like I said, I think he's been at Dynamo Zagreb since 2014. I think he joined them at the age of 16 and all that. Obviously, he's still there now. He's been there a number of years now, and I think he's still only 21 years of age, so he's still very, very young. And I think in all competitions, he's played 102 games for Dynamo Zagreb, and I think he scored around 26 goals, created around 21 assists, so his stats are pretty impressive. But I think it did say last week that Dani Olmo's preference is either a move to the Premier League or the Bundesliga and all that. This is what he basically said. Obviously, before he was at Dynamo Zagreb, I think he actually was at Barcelona. I think he did serve around 7 years in Barcelona's youth academy. But nothing much more was updated since last week about Manchester United being in there for Dani Olmo. But he did say last week we'd submitted around the £35 million bidding for him. But now it actually does say that Tottenham are in there for Dani Olmo. Like I said, he can play as an attacking mid. He can also play as a winner, so he can play on each flank. So he is very, very versatile. So do you believe he'd have all the attributes, to come to the Premier League and succeed and all that? But yeah, it does say Manchester United were in for him last week. I still, the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see James Maddison come in and all that. And I like James Maddison a lot. Can create chances, can score goals, can provide. Plus, he's British, primarily an attacking midfielder and all that. And I think he did allegedly say that James Maddison is interested in making a move to Manchester United and all that. But he did say he had reservations about joining the club because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. But yeah, very, very good player. And there has been rumours going on about James Maddison. I haven't heard much as recently. I haven't heard out recently, about James Maddison. But I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans would like to see him come in. And I think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So like I said, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda. I think it's very essential, that Manchester United get a central defender in, because obviously, we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. Obviously, Victor Lindelof, there was vast improvements in his game in his second season with Manchester United. His distribution was good. He was holding his line really, really well. He was very, very good in the air. His passing was really, really good. His performances in his second season were fantastic. I think in his first season, Lindelof was inconsistent, didn't really settle in, but there was vast improvements in his second season. And I do believe Lindelof will develop and flourish, and I think he'll get better and better and better. So we just basically need someone that can partner alongside him in our back line. Quite a lot of Manchester United fans have said, we need two central defenders, because looking at, we haven't had a world-class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic, since we had the likes of Fernandes, we haven't had a world-class central defender. Last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League in 38 Premier League games, and obviously that's our highest total since the 1978-1979 season. So that's 40 years ago. So that just proves the issues we have currently got defensively and all that. Well, yeah, it's very imperative, that we do currently get a central defender in. But we need to see vast improvements going into this season, because last season was disappointing. We finished 6th. We missed out on the Champions League, so we need to see vast improvements, of course, going on into this season. So, like I said, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda. So, like I said, I do believe Harry Maguire. I'm very, very hopeful that we can get this deal over the line for Harry Maguire, because now I do believe it's only Manchester United now that are in the running, to sign Harry Maguire. Obviously, as it has confirmed recently that Manchester City have withdrawn their interest in Harry Maguire. So, Manchester City are no longer in there for Harry Maguire. And obviously, the main factor reason why City have withdrawn their interest, because obviously, City are not willing to pay what Leicester are demanding and all that. So I do believe now Manchester United are in pole position to sign him. So I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified him as his number one defensive target, because analysing it, Harry Maguire, will dramatically improve us defensively. He'll blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. I think he'll complement Victor Lindelof very, very well. And I do believe he'll, fit the Manchester United agenda and all that. And I think Harry Maguire, has indicated out, that he wants to come to one of the top 6 clubs and all that, because obviously he wants to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career to the next level. And obviously I think Harry Maguire has notified Leicester, that he wants to leave currently Leicester. Leicester obviously looking at ultimately, don't want to sell Harry Maguire. This is why they've priced him out in the transfer market. This is why, of course, they are demanding an extortionate amount, because obviously, Leicester don't want to currently sell him. But it has been Manchester United and Manchester City, battling out for his services. I do believe Mike Phelan has even instructed Manchester United to get a deal over the line for him, because don't forget, Harry Maguire did play under Mike Phelan's guidance during his time with Hull. Mike Phelan only had a short tenure with Hull, but he still managed Harry Maguire and all that. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did ask our British players, I think it was last week, in our squad, their thoughts on Harry Maguire, and every one of them give fantastic remarks about Harry Maguire and all that. So I do believe now we are going to step up our interest in him. Probably he's going to cost us around 85 or 90 million pounds, because obviously this is what Leicester are demanding. But I probably do believe Manchester United will pay what Leicester are demanding, so we can get the deal over the line for him. I did say 70 million pounds is reasonable for Harry Maguire in this market this day and age, but I did say over the 70 million pound mark. I think they are asking for a bit too much, Leicester. But like I said, I do want us to get this deal over the line. And, Sky Sports, did report out last week, saying that we had to put a £70 million bid in for him. Obviously, this was insufficient for Leicester. So, obviously, Leicester didn't entertain this offer. Leicester, instantly, turned this £70 million bid down. But talks have been ongoing, between Manchester United and Leicester, for several weeks. Also, Manchester City have held talks with Leicester for several weeks. Reflecting back a couple of weeks ago, it was looking likely he was going to be going to Manchester City and all that. Even City orchestrated his salary in that out, and he did say City were willing to offer him around 280 grand a week, to go play under Pep Guardiola's guidance. And he did reportedly say City were set to, sign him for a world record fee of £80 million and all that. But obviously now City have been put off by the price tag, and obviously City were seeing him as a replacement for Vincent Kompany. I think it also said that Manchester City are considering offloading Otamendi and all that. But I think Manchester United now are going to win the race for Harry Maguire. 26 years of age, so still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Like I said, holds his line well, shows that ability to power from the back. He's, like I said, very good in the air. I think his stability is really, really good. Isn't really fast, but I don't think that's a current issue. But like I said, it's going to take a world record fee, for a defender, to convince Leicester to offload him. Harry Maguire's been at Leicester a couple of seasons. Obviously made 76 appearances in all competitions. 69 of those appearances have obviously come in the Premier League. Obviously signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's still under contract with them until 2023. And Leicester did pay around £17 million for his services from Hull City, back in 2017 and all that. But yeah, I think he will be a fantastic signing for Manchester United, of course, if he does come in. Maybe more negotiations between Manchester United and Leicester in the coming days. I do not know, but talks have been going on over several weeks. And Manchester United, maybe we should just pay, what currently Leicester are currently demanding and all that. But like I said, a very, very good player indeed. But, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda, as you all know. Obviously, there's been talks about West Ham's Issa Diop and all that. I'm probably looking at it from a financial point of view. Issa Diop, probably will cost substantially less than Harry Maguire and all that. But I think West Ham, looking at ultimately, don't want to sell Issa Diop. They said, they want at least in the excess of around £60 million if they're willing to sell him. Obviously, obviously Manchester United have been in for Issy Diop in the last couple of weeks, but I think we actually now set to step up our interest in the player, because obviously he's one of our priority targets. He's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, Issy Diop's first season in the Premier League was last season with West Ham. It was his debut season. I think he played 38 games in all competitions last season for West Ham. And I think he's 22 years of age. He's very, very tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. Obviously, West Ham did pay around £22 million for his services from Toulouse, so he's got 4 years left on his contract with West Ham. Reports did reflect out last month saying that we'd reportedly offered around 45 million pounds, plus we'd offered Phil Jones as part of the deal, but West Ham didn't entertain this offer, so West Ham, instantly turned this company down. But he did say Manchester United we are set to put our first formal offer in for Issy Diop, and he did say we're willing to offer him around 45 million pounds. So yeah, Manchester United have been in there for him, but will cost less than Harry Maguire, I should presume, will cost less than Koulibaly in that from Napoli. But like I did currently say, yeah, so we are in there for this Diop. I'd say Koulibaly now is totally out of the equation, so I forgot about him because I think Napoli are reluctant to currently offload him. Like I said, I've already given you the latest news, haven't I, about Matthijs de Ligt. With Matthijs de Ligt, I think it's looking likely he's going to be going to Juventus. He was obviously one of our main priority targets for quite some time. But yeah, like I said, there has been so many central defenders on our current agenda. But I do believe Solskjaer has got to meet expectation levels, going on into this season. That's very, very essential indeed, because I think our expectations going on into this season probably will be to finish in the top 4 and get Champions League qualification for the season after this season and all that. That's also very, very essential. But I do believe our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. I may be wrong about that, but I think we're at least a couple of years off from winning the league or challenging for the league, because obviously at the moment City strides ahead of us, obviously Liverpool and that strides ahead of us. Obviously, with Liverpool, they've invested well in the last couple of seasons. They have got a good manager, Jurgen Klopp and all that. Obviously, Liverpool did win, Jurgen Klopp did win his first major honour as manager, with Liverpool last season, winning the Champions League and all that. Liverpool have not yet, made any signs this summer. Maybe Liverpool won't, do any transfer activity this summer, because probably Liverpool believe they don't need to do any transfer activity. So Liverpool haven't spent out yet this summer. Manchester City have not yet spent out this summer, but I think, they have got quite a few players on their current agenda. I don't think they've spent out this summer, from what I know, anywhere. Obviously, Chelsea, with them, I think they've still got that transfer ban, so they can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows. Obviously, they've lost Eden Hazard and all that. But like I said, we have got to get our number 1 targets this summer. But you do know that we have been, a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, the main factor is why we've been a toxic club, because obviously, we've been, mismanaged. This is the main factor reason, of course, why we have been underachieving and all that. But like I said, hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward. We're not playing, we're not playing as, we was playing in that 3 month. Well, we wasn't playing towards the back end of last season, how we was playing in that 3 month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, because it all went well when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. He exceeded expectation levels, the results were good, the performances were good, and Solskjaer was getting the best out of the players and all that. But it seemed to have all gone wrong since he did get the job permanently. Towards the back end of last season, you could say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, some of his tactics and his team selections were definitely very, very questionable. Especially towards the back end of last season and all. And if it doesn't work out in the Solskjaer, it doesn't currently work out. But I think we probably need to give him at least a year, to see how things currently work out and all that. And I hope he has got the stature to get us in that commanding position, because Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. Don't get me wrong, one of his most iconic moments obviously was in 1999 as a player, when of course he did score that winning goal at the Nou Camp against Bayern Munich. Of course, won Manchester United the treble. Obviously, that's one of the club's greatest achievements and all that. For Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he has got a great pedigree as a player, and he did flourish under Alex Ferguson's, guidance and all that. Has got a bit of experience as a manager. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde and all that. Hasn't really got it to the highest level though. But he's at a club, like I said, that he knows inside out and all that. It doesn't, like I said, and hopefully, it does work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I do love him a lot. And like I said, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, because obviously, we've already sacked 3 managers, since Alex Ferguson retired. But like I said, regardless of who our manager is, we're never going to achieve of what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 25 years and the success that we did have. And, no one's going to ever, follow Alex Ferguson's legacy, and that's something we've got to accept. But I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy and all that. But like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the club. But like I was saying, last summer, it was our, priority, to get a central defender in. But like I said, a couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under the Jose Mourinho era, even though Jose Mourinho has got that winning pedigree. He's won, silverware, everywhere he's currently been. But it didn't work out under him because obviously he had bad disputes with the players. The board weren't back in the signings that he wanted to recommend in last summer. And obviously he had bad disputes with the board and all that. So they're the couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho and all that. But like I said, the majority of this squad not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So like I said, there's lots to address in the squad because the only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the moment is Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and all that. And I do believe Wan-Bissaka's got all the ingredients, to become a huge success at Manchester United and all that. I think Wan-Bissaka, can be our fullback over the next decade because, he's only 21 years of age and all that. And I think he's a good sign for Manchester United, but I think we need more than Wan-Bissaka. Want to get Bruno Fernandes on the board. We need 2 new additions in that midfield. Want to get a central defender on the board. If Lukaku goes, obviously, we're going to need a replacement for him. We need a right winner. So there's still lots to address in the current squad. I also think Manchester United needs to get rid of Darmian and Rojo. That's very, very essential because I think with Darmian and Rojo, they've both enjoyed difficult times at the club. Darmian, he hasn't really been given the chance. Darmian's been here since the Louis van Gaal and Moreira, hasn't really been given the chance. He's sustained a few injuries. With Rojo, his Manchester United career has been mainly affected. The amount of injuries he's currently sustained. And so I think we need to sell them both. Probably get around 25 or 30 million pounds for their current departures. So that's what I think we can generate around 25 or 30 million. With Sanchez, I think the club are finding it very difficult, to get rid of Alexis Sanchez at the moment because obviously, he's reflecting on his substantial wages. He's the highest paid player at the club. He's the highest paid player in the Premier League, and I think Sanchez's wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. I think it's actually looking probably more likely now he's going to be, he's going to continue applying his trade out with Manchester United going on into this season because we find it very difficult to offload him. I think Man United would try to do everything we can, try to currently offload him, but I don't think we can get rid of him permanently because I don't think any teams can afford him. Like I said, reflecting on his huge wages because he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses and all that. This is what Alexis Sanchez is currently on. And he hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been. Sanchez is 30. He's nearly 31 now. He's aging up anyway. He doesn't basically have a future at the club. So I think Manchester United need to get rid of him. I think the only way we can get rid of Sanchez is if we come to some kind of agreement of letting him go on a long season loan, and Manchester United come to some sort of agreement of paying him half of his wages off him and all that. But yeah, I think we've definitely got to get rid of Alexis Sanchez. Was a fundamental player when he was at Arsenal because he did have 4 great years with Arsenal. I think he won a couple of FA Cups and that with Arsenal, but did really, really well. Obviously, even played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona, and he did really, really well, but just hasn't replicated this at Manchester United. With Lukaku, I think we've definitely got to get rid of him as well because he's one of the problematic players at Manchester United and all that. Obviously, if we get rid of Lukaku, obviously we're going to need to bring a replacement in for him because that was another problem last season. We wasn't ruthless enough in front of goal, we wasn't scoring enough goals, so that was another problem last season. So if Lukaku leaves, we're going to need a replacement for him anyway. I still think we need a striker anyway because I just don't think Lukaku is good enough. Like I said, I've got reservations about him, but Lukaku leaving, we can't rely on Rashford or the likes of Martial, to deliver them goals that we need because obviously the likes of Rashford and Martial at the moment, haven't emulated to that level as yet. And it's going to take them a couple of years, the pair of them, to get them to that level where they do currently want to be. Because Rashford and Martial have been inconsistent. There was inconsistent towards the back end of last season, but I think the last 3 months, of last season, I thought to be quite fair. Where they were very, very inconsistent. But so we're definitely, if Lukaku leaves the football club, we're going to need a replacement for him. But like I did currently say, last week, we sorted contracts out. Obviously, Alex Tuanzebe, I think, signed a new deal. Andres Pereira, of course, has signed a new deal. Do you think Andres Pereira, is the long-term solution for Manchester United? So yeah, he signed a new deal. Obviously, it confirmed last week that Rashford signed a 4-year deal with an option to extend it by a further year. I think I think he's going to receive around £200 million, but with several bonuses involved, I think it'll rise up to around 300 grand a week. So that's obviously going to make Rashford one of the highest paid players at the club. Obviously, we've seen Scott McTominay sign a new contract. He signed one last season. Obviously, Phil Jones-Smalling got new long-term contracts. Obviously, that was a bad business for Manchester United, giving them 2 new long-term contracts. Obviously, last season we gave Ashley Young a new 1-year extension. Obviously, back in January we gave Anthony Martial a new long-term contract, which was good. I think we gave him a 5-year deal. And we do know with David De Gea, he's on the verge of signing a new 5-year deal and all that. Give you the news about that the other day, didn't I? Saying that De Gea has agreed a £350,000 a week contract. Obviously, this will make him the highest paid goalkeeper in world football. Also make him one of the highest played. He'll more or less, I think he'll be the second highest paid at Manchester United, just behind Alexis Sanchez, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, very, very happy about the Gea signing new contract. So it's going to be a 5-year deal. So it'll take him under contract till 2024. It'll also take him to the age of around 33 or 34 years of age, because David De Gea is 28 at the moment. But it did confirm there was breakthrough in negotiations, between David De Gea's, between Manchester United and David De Gea's agent, George Mendes, and all that. So finally it did say Manchester United are willing to meet his current wage demands. So that's very, very good news. But De Gea's been a great servant here. He has been here 8 years. But yeah, very, very delighted about that. So like I said, still lots to address in the squad, but the main part of this video was to give you the latest news about Bruno Fernandes. Now, he's confirmed, Sporting has been confirmed he will not be playing in their pre-season friendly game tomorrow, ahead of, because obviously, ahead of his proposed move to Old Trafford and all that. So I think he's waiting on his transfer to Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United have to come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon, to get it officially announced. And obviously, Bruno Fernandes has met up with his own agent, discussing his future. But Sporting Lisbon did confirm themselves there has been talks with Bruno Fernandes in regards to his future and all that. So anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.